Hello, everybody. It's so great to have you all back on our channel. My name is Amara.
And my name is Gospel.
Wow. If you're new to our channel, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you know when we put content out. To all our returning subscribers, always a joy to have you all back again.
We started a conversation series in which we invited couples to discuss issues around marriage, to share their knowledge and experience with us. And our viewers have identified these conversations to be very, very rich and educative. In fact, we even brought in singles to discuss or share their views about relationship. Today, we'll be having another wonderful couple who would be sharing their experience and their knowledge. In fact, they are experts. Do you want to say what today's topic is about?
Wow. Today we're going to be talking about intimate marriage.
Wow. That's where we want to be.
Yes, that's where we aim to be. But I would wait for us to introduce our guest today. And I'm sure I would allow them to do all the honors, do the introduction themselves, and then we'll carry on with the conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Oh, hello, Chidi and Victor. It's great to have you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I've been itching to hear these guys talk because, you know, they've been doing so much in terms of relationships.
I love them to introduce themselves.
Okay.
Yes, so please introduce yourselves to our audience, please.
Well, we're just as excited to be here. Thanks for having us. Like you said earlier, we are Chidi and Victor Akunna. We run an organization called Foundation for Family Affairs, and our mission is simple: to connect hearts and raise healthy families.
Absolutely.
And when we say healthy families, it's about the individuals in the family, about the state of the individuals in there. That state determines what the family becomes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know one thing. If you have a healthy family, you're going to have a wonderful society.
Yes,
that's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
No, our guests are a bit too, how do I put it now? They don't want to talk about themselves. So you're just talking about what they do. Victor is an academic. Dr. Victor Akunna.
Yes.
And his wife is a solicitor. So wow, and they're doing ministry together.
That's impressive. So it means you can actually combine ministry, reaching out to families, doing all those, and still keep a wonderful job.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yes.
Balance.
All right, I'm itching to go. You know the thing, you can't actually have a healthy family if you don't have an intimate marriage. That is about what we want to talk about today.
Yeah. Yes. So we want to ask our guests today. So let's start with some definition, because some people out there might be saying, you know what's this whole word? Well, some people are used to it. You know, sometimes we use words without actually knowing what their meaning is. So tell us, what is intimate marriage?
Okay. Thank you for that. That's a good question. Okay, let me give the definition of intimacy, and then you can throw more light to that.
Right.
Okay, so for me, intimacy is that place where I feel safe to be vulnerable with him. It's that place of deep sharing, deep connection. And that's as a result of me knowing that what I share with him will not be used against me. What I share with him, I will not be judged for what I share with him.
Absolutely.
I will not be criticized for what I share with him. Yeah, so it's all of these factors. There are some things I've said. Being safe, I have to feel safe to share. I have to feel vulnerable. It's a place where I have to unpack the depths of me. You know, like when we say there are layers to intimacy, you know, oftentimes you hear people say intimacy and they mean sex, but beyond that, okay, intimacy is that place where I am open to share, to connect, and then build a stronger marriage.
Yeah, just to add to that, to have an intimate marriage, you need to have that place where you you can be able to share your dreams, share your aspirations, share your insecurities, share your fears. So an intimate marriage is a total experience. It's an experience where couples can absolutely be themselves, irrespective of the phase of life where they are at, and they can really, really connect with each other beyond all the noise, beyond all the other relationships they have. Ability to have that relationship where you feel safe, where you can really be yourself. That's one key thing about intimacy.
Well, you say all these things and you make it seem so easy. I mean, our listeners out there might just be saying, Guy, how do you expect me to share all of this? Because some people are in their relationship right now and they don't trust the other person enough to like your wife was saying, like to allow you into the depth of me. That's really deep. Places where you're talking about vulnerability, places where it's like if someone gets to know this about me and every other person gets to know that, then I feel exposed.
Yeah, but the thing is that what they just described is what marriage is about, where you can be yourself. You can, in fact, there's someone who said intimacy is into me, you see.
That's Chidi Jakes.
Yeah, which means you're naked inside out, but you're not ashamed to be yourself. I think that description they've given is solid. And for everyone who is married or who intends to get married, that is the goal. That is the objective.
Yeah. But what happens, which is what brings my question, because I want this conversation to be as practical as possible. What happens if couples in a relationship are struggling to get to the points that they have just described? What happens?
Well, what happens? Well, there are different reasons why that happens. Let's go back. Let's go to the depth of it. There are different reasons why that happens. When people start out relationships, usually they start from a point of intimacy, right? Because it's progressive disclosure. You meet girl, meet boy, they get to know each other, and the more they interact with each other, the more they converse. Oh, you actually like this sport as well. Oh, you love to read books as well. When I met her, I noticed she loves to read books, and that's connected. I was like, oh, really? You like to read books? And then we started talking, and then we started finding common ground. That common ground begins to progress your relationship to that level of intimacy. Then you now begin to explore the person. Oh, I share this thing with this person. I feel safe. I'm myself with this person. I don't have to act up or create this forming thing, in quotes, so I can be myself. I'm not under intense pressure to impress her, although I have to impress her, but I'm not under intense pressure to do that. So once that begins to materialize, that relationship begins to form. But usually when it gets into marriage, now that's a different phase. Some people don't know how to adjust to that. There are new responsibilities. Sometimes the children come along, pressure from work, pressure from family, all kind of things. So people begin to forget how they started. They begin to forget that they need to be deliberate and intentional about connecting with this person, asking, how are you? Asking, what's happening in your life? How can I be of help? They start, leaving a lot of issues unaddressed. So after a while, you begin to notice that, that initial level of safety, or sometimes people even share stories, and then you feel like what I shared with you, use it against me much later. After a while, people begin to build a wall around their hearts, and that's how intimacy begins to disseminate gradually. So it's a gradual process.
And I think you threw in a word earlier when you talked about trust. If I don't trust him, then I wouldn't feel comfortable to share.
Absolutely.
So trust is just as important. When trust is impacted in the relationship, then it will be difficult for spouses to be truly open with each other. So if trust has been impacted, I think couples can sit down and walk their way back into it. It's still possible. But you have to prove yourself. If you're the spouse who's broken the trust, you have to prove yourself again.
So to your question, what happens when couples stop being intimate? That's your question, right?
Yes, please.
What happens? So one of the things that what happens is when this begins to happen, what happens is that people begin to move from soulmates, intimacy, to roommates. So they're just coexisting. So they are living parallel lives. So it's like two straight lines that don't connect. So the conversation degrades from sharing some form of intimate perspective shared, like she said, intimacy is about deep sharing, begins to move to level of facts. Okay, what are we having for dinner? How are the children doing? Just those kind of basic stuff. People don't feel safe to kind of connect at that level. Yeah, that's what happens.
If we look at the pyramid of communication, because communication is just vital for intimacy, for us to be intimate.
Yeah.
If you look at the pyramid of communication, it goes up. At the base is that level where we say hello.
Hi.
Like he said, when we started, it was hello. Oh, okay, we're finding ourselves, discovering our values. And then we get to the next level, which is the level where we share facts.
Facts.
Okay. And then you get on to the next level where I now start sharing my views, or what are your views about this? What are your opinions about this? And then we get to the next level. You see, the pyramid is closing.
Yeah.
We get to the next level where we start sharing feelings. Now, this is how I feel about this situation. This is how I feel about what you said. And then the peak of it is where it's heart to heart. So when intimacy is impacted, we'll start dropping, we'll start going down the pyramid, going back to the base of it, where, okay, I no longer have heart-to-heart connection with him. We no longer talk about how I feel about this. Who cares how you feel? Okay, we start talking about facts. Okay, how the children, what happened today, and that's it. Yeah.
So you just see someone, you're having your chat. You can be in the same house with your spouse, in the same physical space, but not in the same emotional space.
That's true.
So you are in the same room, you're talking to each other like, the COVID-19 have brought us together, we are stuck together. But I'm chatting with somebody else across the globe, 6,000 miles away. She's talking with somebody else. So that's what happens and couples they don't need to get there. It's a painful place to be.
Yeah.
So
I
That's
think
true.
you guys have said so many things that I'm thinking if we unpack the things they've said, I think today wouldn't be enough to deal with some of the issues. One of the things they've said is that intimacy is progressive. It starts somewhere, it moves on, it's not a destination. You keep becoming intimate as you in life with this individual.
Yeah.
In fact, don't also guard against some things that could happen in your marriage, like things that could impact on trust. Then you can move down to the zero level of intimacy.
Exactly. And I think that, as you progress in your relationship, just like you're saying, you begin to build intimacy. But at the same time, you should always try to resolve issues, because I think that's where it begins to chip away. So somebody raises something like a red flag and say, oh, I don't like this, or I don't like the way, you speak to me, how it makes me feel, for example.
Absolutely.
And you kind of trivialize it, or you kind of, please, this woman, you're always, picking up on little things, and I think about addressing those things, like you said, progressively, because intimacy is not something that just happens.
Yes.
Is that sometimes when people are starting a relationship, that feeling of, the
Hype,
the feeling, sometimes we mistake those feelings as the key level of intimacy we have with this person.
That's true.
I actually wanted to ask them if they would say intimacy is more when people want to get married,
Or is
it less after they've lived together for a long time?
That's an interesting question.
I don't know what they will say. Maybe.
Yes, we can shine a spotlight on that. I think it depends on the couple. Some couples, usually the standard thing is everybody gets intimate at the beginning, usually, right? Because this is chemistry form of the relationship where, wow, I like the way she smiles. I like the way she walks. I like the way she smells. And then you begin to look forward to seeing her. You begin to arrange your dressing. You begin to see, I like this color. You begin to look for ties around that color just to make sure that when she sees you, she said, your tie is looking nice. Your head goes like 10 times bigger. You're looking for something to fix it together. That is normal for most people. Yeah. But after that phase, you now begin to move to what we call mature love, where after you've gotten married, now it's no longer.
What was the other love before the mature?
That other love is more like what some people call like muchi kind of love. It's normal. Butterflies in your tummy. you know, you don't really know each other's faults and
It's not
weaknesses yet.
about how you feel about the person.
Yes, it's the chemistry that are really unleashing the oxytocins, the dopamine that the one filling your head, you know. And then when you get married, you begin to know the person better. And some of those things that used to make you like, wow, I like the way she makes decision on the spot, now begins to, why didn't you ask me before making decision? You know, the story now begins to change, right? Because that's instant thing that you found attractive is now become that thing that, oh, why didn't you ask me before you made it? I'm sorry, the opportunity was there. I didn't want to lose it. Now, those things now begin to become irritations if not properly managed.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you now begin to move to mature love, where you now begin to make conscious decision to love this person. So most people are unable to transcend that for different reasons, because some couples, they don't like each other. So they may love each other. Liking and loving is different. Loving is a conscious decision you make.
And you please
Slow down
a bit.
Sorry.
What does it mean? Liking and loving are different. Please can you do that?
Okay, so liking is basically you enjoy someone's company. You look forward to seeing that person. You guys are friends. You like that person. Loving, by loving I mean the real type of love, the mature love, what we call the agape love, you know, where you consciously decide to love this person in spite of their weaknesses.
Person's flaws, yeah.
Yes, you know the flaws, because you can't love someone you don't know. You know the flaws and you still love the person. That's love. So it's not the eros type of love, which is just sexual. It's not the filial type of love, which is just based on friendship. You know all this. And so some couples love each other. They still love each other because even though they are fighting, they know they love each other, but they don't like each other. So they look forward to when they're going, oh, how long are you going to stay? Oh, 2 hours. Only 2 hours. Why not stay 4 hours?
When they don't stay in their heart, they are feeling, I wish this woman can stay like 6 hours.
Not stay farther away, you know. Why? Because they have built another experience outside of their spouse. And that experience, they help them to escape from their spouse's anomalies. So the more the spouses go, in fact, I met a woman that said, we enjoy our marriage from distance. They have this long distance marriage. Once it's around, everything begins to explode. So she kind of likes, I found that spooky, but that's what some people like, yeah.
Why is it marriage? Oh, well.
That's by
the way, yeah.
So you want to ask?
No, go on.
So I'm
so
actually enjoying the conversation. I think our viewers must have learned something today. There is a difference between love and like. Someone could like you and you mistake that likeness as love. He's all around you. He wants to stay with you. He wants to do things with you. Be sure that that likeness can also transcend to the level of making lifetime commitment.
Yeah, but at the same time, even after you've made that commitment to love that person, you should still like that person.
Yeah, they work together.
Yes, because sometimes people begin from liking each other, and then when they get to the point, like the way Victor has just described, it looks like, oh, I'm just gonna love this person. You know what? It's hard. I can see all these flaws, but you know what? I'm in it. I'm stuck here. I can't move. And then you don't see the fun side. You don't really like, know, the things.
At that level, the marriage becomes boring, becomes a chore, becomes a burden. And people always project that aspect of marriage as all about responsibility, all about struggling to make it work.
Exactly.
But marriage is beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It is beautiful.
Absolutely.
For Victor and the wife, you can actually see and sense that they are really enjoying it.
I wanted to say something.
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
No, I was just reiterating what he said. Marriage is beautiful. You've done right. Come on.
And that brings us to the point of building this intimacy, which comes to friendship. One of the key elements of intimacy is building a friendship. So if you leave, it's like when you have a farmland. If you just leave it, weeds will grow. So marriage is like a farmland. Like I would say, love is like a relationship is like a living organism. Marriage like a living organism. How you nurture it determines how it grows.
That's
so
true.
You being intentional about cultivating friendship. And how do you build friendship? You look for common grounds. You look for areas of agreement. And it can be learned. I learned this when I read a book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I was a painfully shy person, and I still am, but it distills some key things of how to make people comfortable, how to interact with people. Your spouse says something like, no, that idea is not good. Next time, the guy will be very cautious. If he's the kind of introverted guy, be like, okay, my idea is not good, and you're announcing it publicly. Okay, you run that vision by yourself. So you intentionally cultivate this. Your spouse comes in, wow, you light up. Why do people like puppies? Puppy will be shaking and doing his tail and wagging and jumping. People feel like this guy, this thing, or this it misses me. So you light up when you see your spouse. If you're like, when you're playing video game, your spouse walks in, you don't even know. Oh, sorry, don't forget to shut the door. That's your response. Excuse me? Make people enjoy, bring humor, make them feel comfortable, like them, invest in their lives.
I think you touched on something very big there when you talked about rituals. You used another word, but I'll use rituals for that. Couples need to get to that point where they have rituals. We call them meeting points, things that bring you together. Yes, I would say something. They would say, it wasn't God's intention for us to be the same. It was his intention for us to be one. So we need to get to that place where, yes, we celebrate our differences, our individuality, your uniqueness. And that's why when we say intimacy, we're not saying you lose yourself in the relationship. You can still have your own separateness. Okay, you can still have your own separate, like the things you enjoy, but you need to have meeting points. And that's why we emphasize rituals, where it's like, okay, for us, we do a lot of, we walk around the neighborhood. Is that time where you connect? And couples must be intentional about this, like he was saying earlier. Okay, we bathe together, we shop together. Well, pre-COVID, now we do a lot of shopping online. But you need to have those times where, for couples who have children, yes, how about put them to get them into bed earlier, but then you have that time where it's us time. We can connect, we can touch base with each other. Check on each other, find out what's happening in the other's life. Okay, so you are a couple. Something must bring you together. You can't just run off with your separate lives. So you must ensure that you have those meeting points intentionally, and in spite of everything you have to grapple with, you have to make that happen.
That's okay. Go on. Sorry.
Go on,
finish up so that I can.
I was going to say that intentionality is the when something is not structured, people just do what they like, That intentionality helps you to stay connected. That intentionality helps you to refine your vision. Why are we together? Those questions are answered in the midst of you talking and interacting with each other. That intentionality gives you an opportunity to set direction for each other as a couple. That intentionality helps you to know when your spouse is not happy. There are layers of happiness in a woman. That is, how are you? I'm fine.
Just a woman.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I said a woman. Yeah, that's the reason. I'm not being partial here. That's the reason why I say,
no.
When you ask your spouse, like for example, you're going down. Do you need anything? No, I don't need anything. The longer you spend with each other, the more you know that you begin to know. If she says no, I don't need something, you begin to hear beyond what she says. That's what I said. So.
Not just her words.
Not just her words, her body language. She may say, I don't want anything because she doesn't want to talk to you at that time. If you go down and you don't bring a cup of tea, that's another kettle of fish. So knowing that it takes experience. That's why we like to say that familiarity should not bring contempt. It should bring intimacy. Because the more you know your spouse, the more you know what should make her light up. The more you interact with someone, I know what to say that will make my wife light up. I know what to say that will make her look like, it's just experience of interacting with the person. That's it.
Wow. You've said so many things. I think, Chidi, you said something about intimacy. She started with intimacy is intentional.
Yeah.
You have to make it work. It doesn't just happen. And she said, even though you're coupled, let me use the word coupled, even though you're one,
Yeah.
You can be different. You can have a life.
Celebrate your uniqueness.
Yes.
That's celebrate. It's because I think that's something that affects intimacy in marriage, where one person wants something a certain way. Okay, I was coming into this marriage. This is how I planned this marriage to be. And woman or man, you're not fitting into this mold. And then it becomes a problem or a point of constant conflict. Because you just want that spouse to be that ideal woman or man you had in your head before you came into the relationship. So another thing I wanted to ask from you is for some men, again, sorry, I'm not trying to be gendered specific, but for some men in a relationship, that especially from people from our culture, they have some preconceived, mindset, notion about how marriage should be, what my wife should be, and how she should behave. And sometimes when they get married, I think that constantly leads to a lot of challenges in the relationship. Could you speak to that? Could you chime in on that particular?
Fantastic. One key thing about this kind of specific thing is that you can't bring someone into your space without making adjustments. You can't bring a pet into your space without making adjustments. You need to make adjustment where you lie, how you're going to walk it in the morning. You need to make adjustment. But sometimes people have this perspective in their head. They have this structure in their head that is inflexible, that is rigid. And so they want to bring someone that will just fit into their mold. No. And that's why for you to have a successful relationship, you need to be able to learn, relearn, and unlearn. You need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So it's a very critical thing. Why? Because you have to it's a dance. If you are in a relationship with someone, you need to study the values of the person, the lives of the person. The person is doing the same to you. So as you are moving here, she's moving back. As you are moving back, so it's a dance. So what I would say to a young man or to a guy or to an older man who has that structure in his head, it's not going to work, because what you're going to do is that you're going to be creating an atmosphere where the woman will not grow. You're going to limit her emotional growth. She'll be walking on eggshell, because everything she's going to do, you're going to complain. Anything that falls outside those imaginary, sometimes unexpressed expectations of her, you go, oh, why is that? Even if you don't complain, your body language will say something. Oh, why is she putting a cup here? I want a cup here. All right? You said it like that. She heard you. She heard the distasteful sound of your tone, because the communication is on different levels. She's heard your tone of voice, your facial expression, and she wants to make you happy. Sorry her, she can never make you happy, right? Because she can't fit into that mode. So one key thing there is it must be flexible. Intimacy booms when people are able to be themselves. One of the qualities that most people are looking for when they want to get married is somebody in whose presence they can be themselves. Being themselves doesn't mean that you just, be your crazy self. No, everybody has crazy. Tame your craziness, but your best version is what is coming out. Your best version that lifts people up. Your best version that makes you go after big goals in your own career. Because the better you are, the better your relationship. Because who really is what will bring into a relationship. Wow. So not to have that kind of restrictive, imaginary, unrealistic, some people call it expectations you're having around. No human being would like that. No human being, you can't create that kind of. So even if you have those boundaries, must be willing to flex them. Some single that we talk to, we coach, they have this perspective in their head. Oh, all men are this, all men are that. Oh, if you can't do this, I don't have time. I say, excuse me? Yeah, you are bringing another individual, a separate entity, indivisible person into your space to form interdependent relationship. You can't bring someone else and expect, unless you are managing a toddler. Even a toddler, you can't tell a toddler to sit here and they will sit there. They will move around, So that's the only thing about what I would say. You must be flexible in your expectations. Otherwise, you create an atmosphere where that is extremely emotionally stifling. The person can express themselves, and people can be intimate if they don't trust you.
And if the person decides to express herself, then it becomes abusive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nobody builds intimacy with someone they don't know, don't like, they don't trust. They must be able to trust by trust in this sense, I mean, you're predictable emotionally. Not every time. They don't know how they're going to react on an issue. So I do this today.
Yeah.
You react this way. If I can't predict your emotional reaction, I'm going to be guarded. And when I'm guarded, I'm going to build walls. When I build walls, we can't connect. And when we can't connect, we can't have intimacy.
Fantastic. One of the things that you said that actually kind of came at me or stuck to me is the fact that you said it's a dance. And when there's a dance, there's music, there's a lot of music, there's communication, there is body language. These are so, and it's the music that creates the rhythm in the relationship. So whilst you're communicating, whilst you're having all those body language, whether verbal or non-verbal, you're trying to find your rhythm in your relationship. And every relationship has got a rhythm.
Absolutely.
And you have to be patient to tune the rhythm of the relationship.
Absolutely.
I just love that. And that kind of I got this inspiration about rhythm in a relationship. I think our relationship has got a rhythm.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I love it. I don't know about us. We're here to talk about.
Don't worry, we'll have you guys answered.
Let's see.
Yeah, we got the dance. I don't want to show it,
Okay.
Going. Yeah.
Wow. You guys have said so much. In fact, if we want to ask you more questions, I think 1 week will not even be enough for them to say so much they have. I think we need to bring them.
They have to come back.
We need to bring them again.
Definitely.
And I'm sure our audience will be happy.
I can see, and from the smile on their face, I can see they are happy to come back.
Yes. But before they go, I have to ask them this. For someone out there who is listening to you and the person is thinking, I want an intimate relationship, but I don't know how to get that. How do I? In fact, I don't think anyone will want to be in a marriage where
there's no intimacy.
There is this wall like he talked about. How will you, in summary, what will you tell the person to do to have that access to the spouse so they can build intimacy?
Okay, I'll share, then you share. Okay. First, I would say they need to resolve pending issues, because that's one thing that would often drive a wedge between spouses. Resolve pending issues. And when we talk about that, we'd say you need to master the art of mindful apology. I think my husband introduced me to this gentleman, Gilbert Chesterton, and he would say a stiff apology is a second insult. So yes, you're apologizing, but everything, your body language and all that just says, I'm not into it. I'm not really apologizing. I'm not remorseful. Okay, so spouses must get to that point where they apologize and mean it. Okay, resolve any pending issue, whatever is lying there. You can't be intimate with that lingering.
Study your spouse. Study your spouse in the sense that know the phase of life where they're at, because people's needs change, people grow. And so my need when I got married newly has evolved now. So my spouse needs to know where I'm at to be able to do things that will make me go, wow. So study your spouse, study how their needs are changing, and be intentional about building friendship, because friendship is so critical. It's so critical in terms of building intimacy. Be deliberate about creating a safe emotional space. Safe emotional space is that point where that will make people be able to share their views, share their opinion, and do intimate sharing.
And if trust has been breached, because you talked about creating safe emotional space, if that space had been impacted in the past, you need to build trust again. Okay, you need to learn to be humble, learn to do things that will help your spouse trust again. Because at that point, I'm looking at you like, oh, okay, everything you do at the start of it would seem suspicious to me. Does he really mean it?
Yeah.
Is this really him? Is this a changed version? Or am I just seeing a temporary change? You know, so build trust. You have to keep doing it, keep at it. Your spouse may not believe you at the first time, initially, but you need to keep at it and ensure that that trust is built. I keep saying trust can be built. It can. I know you have to do a lot to earn back that trust, but you need to keep at it.
Another key thing there is create rituals, things that you do on a regular basis. For us, she mentioned we shop together, we bathe together, we take walks together. These are very cheap things that you can do, but their impact goes really, really deep. All right. So don't take things for granted. Don't take your spouse for granted. Constantly look for something new to celebrate about your spouse. I know I often don't like to use this word, but it still makes sense. Love language. Study your spouse's love language and communicate in their love language. Yeah. Love language, basically how they like to receive love. Speak to them in that language. Build their emotional bank account. All right. Because you will need it during conflicts. All right. The more the fuller their emotional bank account is in terms of your relationship with each other, the easier it is for her to forgive things. All right?
Because forgiveness is critical.
Forgiveness is very critical. Without forgiveness, you can't move past an issue, and you don't move past an issue, people are careful about the next move. And you don't want to have to create that kind of atmosphere. So there are many things people can do, but we're just throwing out a number of things that work for us. So you find out which one works for you and begin to implement it. As time goes on, remember it's a dance. You get to know what works for your own unique relationship.
That's true.
And one key thing. So final things I would like to say, make your spouse feel comfortable in your presence. In the sense that, you know, they look forward to it. There are people that you look forward to. There are things, activity that you look forward to. You know, maybe for some people it's sports, for some people it's reading, for some people it's just movies. So that experience that makes you look forward for that, create that in your own relationship. You can create it. Mistake people make is that they wait for their spouse to initiate it. No, you initiate it to say, you know what? I want to love this person. I want to connect with this person. If I have a business deal and I want to connect with somebody, I find a way.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm telling you, if it's important to me, I will find a way. I will get you down. I will connect with you. I will get into your space. So that's why I don't take an excuse when people say, sorry, is this, is that. No, as long as it's not abusive, verbally or physically abusive, you can work it out if you are really intentional about it.
Wow.
It's important you find a way around it.
Wow, you have said quite a lot. I mean, all that you have said, we can actually take them one at a time and begin to read that. But I'm sure that we're in this for a long haul, and we have opportunities where we take some of what you've said and we'll break it down and kind of delve into deeper conversations on that particular issue. And I'm sure our listeners, you know, people who are listening to us right now will be awed at some of the things that you've just said. And one of the things that I would want to, you know, say to those who are watching us right now is, please, do you have some other ways where you and, you know, your spouse have built or are building your intimacy in your marriage? Please, could you kindly share in the comment section so that people like us can also benefit from reading, you know, are there tips, are there ideas, are there rituals that you do as a couple that's maybe we're not even aware of, and we could give it a trial run as well, just to spice up our own intimacy as well.
Oh,
So
yes.
Don't keep it to yourself. Share with us. And it's been a great time. It's been an amazing time having Dr. Victor Akunna and his wonderful wife, Chidi Akunna, on this platform today.
I really, really enjoyed their conversation, the discussion, and the tips they've shared with us today.
Yes, and if you're new to our channel, please do not forget, hit the subscribe button, hit it now, and turn on the notification bell. And for all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you back on our channel.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. We thoroughly enjoyed ourselves.
We did.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And until the next episode is goodbye.
Bye from us.